What is going on, everybody? It is Destroy with Astro DFS coming at you with a new video. Today is running backs. We're just going to be talking about running backs today and who we like and don't like. So a lot of expensive running backs here. Going to make it interesting. Elliott, Cook, Kamara, and McCaffrey all above 8K. Melvin Gordon and David Johnson, the two above 7. So McCaffrey, $8,700, $100 more expensive than Kamara playing against Jacksonville in a game to where I think is a defensive showdown if Ramsey is there, meaning that McCaffrey is going to have to carry a lot of the production with the team. As far as getting yards, I don't think Kyle Allen is going to be safe this week. McCaffrey is probably one of the better plays from Carolina if you're going to play anybody. At $8,700, though, I don't favor him as much as I do two of the other 8K guys. McCaffrey's still, like I said, he's not a bad play. He's going to get those small check down receptions against Jacksonville because they're going to have to. If Jalen Ramsey's there, that defense is just really, really good. Josh Allen, Calais Campbell, Bouye, a lot of pieces on that defense that make it hard to drive down the field on them. So if Jalen Ramsey's there, it's going to make me really, really tough to play McCaffrey, especially at 8,700. 8,600, man. Kamara's looked the best out of any New Orleans player with Teddy Bridgewater in. Michael Thomas has looked okay, but Michael Thomas should look okay. He should be one of the most elite receivers in the league, especially with the amount of help that they have at wide receiver. They don't have much, so yeah, but Kamara against Tampa Bay's defense. Tampa Bay just has a really good defense this year. They're clicking really good defensive line that just stops everything. As you can see, he's had either a good game or a bad game. At $8,000 though, it's hard to put him in. I expect him to get. Oh God, I want to say I expect Kamara to get the touchdown looks, like the red zone looks. But I kind of think Michael Thomas is leaning towards higher, just because, man, that defensive line for Tampa Bay just destroys everything in front of them. So I'm not playing the two expensive running backs. Probably the two I'm going to play the most is Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott. Dalvin Cook just because Kirk Cousins, like I said, if he's going to have a game, it's going to be this game. But they're still going to have to get Dalvin Cook involved. And why not when you're playing the Giants? Look where they are in passing. Like I said, it's going to help Kirk Cousins, and it can make that offense more balanced to make sure that Dalvin Cook gets more production as far as rushing. They're 19th. They give up 109 yards on the ground. Dalvin Cook barely comes out of the game, passing 279 yards, so he's still going to get really good checkdowns. And then they give up 24.3 points a game. Like, that's very, very favorable. Giants don't have an elite defense at all. They don't have a defense. They shut down Case Keenum, who got hurt, and then a rookie that should have never been in that game. They played off of momentum. They're not going to do that against Minnesota. Ezekiel Elliott is playing Green Bay. We just saw Green Bay's defense is human. They have injuries on offense and defense with Devontae Adams out. That makes that Green Bay's offense very shorter, especially with Jamal Williams also hurt. So I don't see Green Bay hanging on to the ball as much. And Dallas is going to have to run just because the corners for Green Bay look really good. If they don't have Michael Gallup, that offense has not looked the same. Granted, they played Miami. They only put up 31 points, and then they played New Orleans and only put up 10. If anyone's going to get the ball, it's going to be Zeke this week. He has yet to have that explosive game. He's got a touchdown in 3 out of the 4 games. The only one he didn't was against Miami, but that's because Pollard was in and took half of his snaps. But this is the game that Zeke should be a competitive game, so Zeke's going to be in it more than Pollard. So I expect Zeke to just have that breakout game. Then right below him, not Barkley, but David Johnson playing against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's defense looks terrible. If Christian Kirk's out of the game, that loses one of Kyler Murray's best receivers. And if anyone's going to benefit of it, other than other than Larry Fitzgerald, is going to be David Johnson. I mean, clearly, look, the last 2 weeks, he's got 20 targets in the last 2 weeks, had 99 receiving yards. Has not done the best on the ground, but he's played Baltimore's defense, played Carolina's defense, and that, like I said, that second half was just crazy, and then they couldn't do anything against Seattle offensively. He was the only stud there. 7,500 playing against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's defense really can't do much. They do have a good defensive tackle in Geno Atkins, but that's about it. Like I said, I expect a lot of checkdowns this week, a lot more than normal if Kirk is out. So David Johnson, 7,500, definitely has so much interest for me. Melvin Gordon playing against Denver with the amount of Denver injuries there are. Melvin Gordon is very, very interesting here. The only thing that worries me is you're paying $7,000 for somebody you don't know what they're going to do. It's still Vic Fangio's defense. Vic Fangio runs a pretty good defense. He doesn't have all the weapons he did in Chicago, but he does good with what he's got. With Bradley Chubb being out, though, I kind of see the Chargers throwing the ball a lot more because they're going to have Eckler playing a lot of slot, I assume, since the amount of injuries they have. So Eckler is probably more favorable for me this week than Gordon, especially for $300 cheaper. And if Bryce Callahan's not in, I really love Eckler here more than Melvin Gordon. Le'Veon Bell, yeah, great running back, just not a great team. Sam Darnold is practicing today, but has not been cleared, so that if Darnold plays, I like Le'Veon Bell a lot more. If he doesn't play, I don't. I mean, you can look at his stats. He gets targets and receptions. Granted, New England is a different story. They have the best defense in the league. Philly has one of the worst defenses in the league. If Darnold plays, I can really, really like Le'Veon Bell at 6,800 against Philly. You saw what Sam Darnold did with all the receivers. Crowder had 14 receptions week 1. So, yeah, I'm not hating Le'Veon Bell, but like I said, it has to come down to Sam Darnold playing. Leonard Fournette playing against Carolina. A lot of people like Fournette because his 225 yards he got against Denver's defense last week. But the other thing I want to show you is this Tennessee game where he played another terrible defense, in my opinion, rushing-wise. He had a 69-yard run. If you take that run away, he didn't have a single rushing yard. Not one. So that game against Denver, 29 carries. That's double what he's got the entire season. Minshew looks good, but I don't know. Carolina's defense also looks good, so it's kind of 50-50 here. I'm not liking Leonard Fournette as much as other people are. Like, you look at his rushing, 12.7, 12.4 for a guy you're paying $6,400 for. I guess that's okay, but I'd honestly rather go Eckler for the receptions and playing slot against that Denver defense than Fournette, because clearly you saw what Fournette did against Denver's defense last week. So I could easily see something like that with Eckler, especially the usage they have for him. Definitely like Ingram here. Granted, Pittsburgh defense looks really, really good now. I think that spark hit the defense. So he's got 5 touchdowns this season. The games he doesn't get a touchdown, his points drop. Arizona's rush defense has stopped me all year. I have not picked Mark Ingram, but I have like players facing Arizona's rush defense. But yeah, if he gets touchdowns, he's a very good player. And Baltimore, I think, has a better team overall. just a better team overall than Cincinnati. But they are going to play in Pittsburgh. If that defense plays the same way they did on Monday night, that's bringing a lot of question marks of me playing Ingram here, especially with Lamar Jackson and how he's looked recently. James Conner, questionable. I don't know. Ankle injury. If he's out, I'm not interested in Samuel at all, even though he had a really, really, really good game against Cincinnati, even though that was Cincinnati. But I'm not I'm not too favorable on Samuel there. Joe Mixon playing against Arizona. Like I just said, Arizona's rush defense has not done me any favors, so I'm not liking Mixon there. Derrick Henry playing against Buffalo. I just can't see that offense unloading points on Buffalo's defense. They really stepped it up, and it was proven last week of how good they are. I mean, you could see he had the one good game against Cleveland, but that was also when Baker Mayfield threw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter, I believe. So he benefited from that quite a bit. Aaron Jones, if Williams is out, kind of interests me, especially since they want to focus a lot more on running this season, and they have done that. Last week was a different story. I even said it was going to be a different story just because they had to keep up with what Philly was going to do, and they did. They're playing against Dallas's rush defense, which is a little banged up on the defensive back, I believe. So that might open Aaron Rodgers to throw more, but they are without Devontae Adams. So you don't know what's going to happen there. With Williams out, I mean, he could get a lot of looks passing wise too, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see about the injuries. Sony Michel, not a bad. Any New England, I'm just going to knock all 3 out with this. Sony Michel, James White, and Burkhead are all good plays here. They're all 3 pretty well priced. Sony Michel, 5,500. James White, 5,000. I believe Burkhead is 4,400. If I'm playing anybody, it's just going to be Burkhead. He gets a lot of those dirty yards, and if they're playing Washington, they get the lead. Burkhead and White are going to be the 2 in there. Sony Michel is not going to be much of a factor. Plus, Sony Michel has yet to have that good game that we know he's all capable of. Gallman against Minnesota, not liking this matchup for the Giants against Minnesota. Granted, they do have a lot more weapons, but Minnesota's defense is very clean, and I think Minnesota's offense is going to have a better game than the Giants' offense. So, not really liking Gallman here, except for checkdowns from Daniel Jones. That's about it. Freeman. Don't like Freeman in if Ito Smith's in, and Ito Smith should be in. David Montgomery against the Raiders. Believe David Montgomery has a game due this week. I'm really expecting that 100-yard game from him, and I expect a couple touchdowns from him just because I know what Oakland's going to do to Daniels. It's going to be the same thing that happened last year. They're going to blitz him. They're going to have to run the ball a lot, and Oakland will not be able to contain David Montgomery if they have to run the ball. He does get targets, as you could see. They've just been going up. And last week with Chase Daniels in, he's got to get those targets. So Minnesota definitely has a better defense overall, and especially rush defense. I could see David Montgomery breaking out. Jordan Howard, I love the guy. The one game I don't pick him for the showdown, he explodes. So don't expect that that receiving touchdown that he got, but don't expect a lot of receptions. They're going against the Jets defense, and like I said, if Jets defense is fully healed, I'm not too favored on Philly's offense, even though Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz, and he does whatever he wants. So Philip Lindsay, a lot of people would be scared going against the Chargers defense, especially being Denver's offense. But if the Chargers defense is as banged up as they are going into Sunday's matchup, Denver's offense looks really good. Joe Flacco doesn't have a good history playing the Chargers, but he does now have Philip Lindsay and Devontae Freeman. And where is Freeman at? I'm trying to find the price of him. We'll just go up. We'll just go find Freeman on our own. I did say Devontae. It's Royce. But yeah, Royce Freeman. I don't know why I was plugging Devontae in there. But yeah, Royce Freeman. Definitely both of them aren't bad. Lindsay has the better potential. As you can see at 4,900, not one of my favorites, but like I said, if Jackson or the Chargers defense is still hurt, like you've seen what they did, he had a great game against the Packers, and the Packers have proven that their pass defense is way better than their rushing defense. and he had that kind of game. It's the same thing with the Chargers. If the Chargers get hurt, their rush defense is definitely going to suffer. So make it interesting for some Philip Lindsay, Royce Freeman play. Tariq Cohen, I expect them to have a 2 running back game this week. Him playing a lot of slot, so I could see Tariq Cohen having a great game. Don't like him in cash, though. Frank Gore playing against Tennessee. If Singletary is out, I mean, I've been telling people Frank Gore, Frank Gore, Frank Gore. Look at his price, 4,400, and he gets you 16 and 13. That's not bad. Not bad at all. They're going to play Tennessee's defense, so we'll have to see, especially if Josh Allen's out. Ronald Jones, my man, Ronald Jones, definitely getting some carries now. He is not the receiving back, but he's the power back, and you love a power back against a New Orleans defense. So I'm liking Ronald Jones. Definitely not for cash as much as GPP. Definitely like him for GPP. So gonna look for him. Chris Thompson, liked him last week. Do not like him this week against New England. Talked about Royce Freeman, not Devontae. Josh Jacobs questionable due to an elbow. Josh Jacobs still does not scream play me. We played him week 1. That's probably all we're gonna play him for a little bit. Guess what? They're playing Chicago. Not playing any running back against Chicago. That's pretty much all I'm gonna look at. No one else really. Regardless of injuries, just pops up to play. So that's it, guys, for running backs. Let us know who you like at running back. Let us know who you don't like at running back this week. Make sure to subscribe so you can watch more of the videos we post. We post one every day except for Saturday, but I'm thinking about changing that and uploading to Saturday. That way there's a video out every day for you guys. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you